and welcome to Homesteading Around the Mission. On this episode, we're going to be talking about wild edible plants. No matter where you live in the world, it's likely that you have in your area wild native plants like these dandelions that are edible. Join us as we discuss their benefits, and stay tuned to learn more. So we're back next to the dandelions here, and we want to share a little more about this one specific wild edible plant. Dandelions, as you know, grow pretty prolifically in North America, but they also grow here in South America, where we are in the northern half of South America. We're told that these are a different variety than the ones that grow in North America, but both plants are edible. Dandelions, if you're not familiar, they're not just that pesky weed in your yard that you want to get the weed eater to get rid of. They actually are full of nutrients. The interesting thing about a dandelion is you can eat the entire dandelion. I'll just show you one of the plants I'll pull up here. We have a large field of them here. Here's one plant. You can eat the dandelion all the way from the root of the dandelion to the flower of the dandelion. Now our flowers have already come and gone in this patch, but what we're doing today is we're actually just picking the leaves off and collecting them for a salad. You can eat them, if you don't like really bitter leaves, these have kind of the flavor of a bitter arugula, so you could also steam them or cook them in a stir fry or in a soup for the nutritious value. So dandelions are just one thing that you might be able to find in your yard or surrounding area. There's many, many more, but I would caution that as you're looking for edible plants in your area, that you would make sure, especially with the greens, that they have not been sprayed with fertilizer or weed killer, because you don't want to ingest the chemicals. The health benefits of dandelion are quite numerous actually. It's high in calcium, magnesium, potassium, iron. Very high in antioxidants, so this is a really healthy plant to have around. The only other thing with dandelions specifically, this is not for others, but dandelions are high in oxalates, which if eaten in large quantities could do some damage to the body, so you want to be cautious. But in the amount you're going to eat them in a salad or a stir fry, you're only going to be getting the health benefits, and there's nothing to worry about. And in a time of trouble, when you need food or when food supply is short and maybe your garden isn't up and ready, you will be very appreciative to have that pesky little nuisance dandelion growing in your yard. Let's stay tuned, and we'll talk about a few more plants that we can discuss that grow here in our area, and hopefully you will find those that grow in your area. Some interesting things that we have found is, living here in South America, we have many local friends that come up and they share with us the wonderful fruits that we have growing nearby in the jungle. We even have wild pineapples here, and it's been really exciting to learn all the things that we have that grow wild, because there might come a time for each of us that we need to know what's growing in our area, because maybe our own garden supply or the food supply that we can go to the store and get is not as widely available as it once was. So it's important to know what you have growing. You also want to be able to identify your wild plants well, whether it's wild fruits like berries back in the States, or if it's the fruit down here that we have growing on the trees in the jungle. There are many here that are poisonous, just as there are many here that are quite nutritious. So you want to make sure that you can identify well. How can you identify wild native plants? We learned this on the Navajo reservation when we lived there, and as well as here in South America. And we have visited some friends back in the States who live in southern U.S., and they've identified a lot of their wild plants. Every area is different. So we would suggest, if you have a local library, starting there, checking out a book on native wild edible plants. That's a good start. The internet is a great wealth of knowledge on these things, so you could go there and check and see if you could find some sites on edible plants. But our third and most favorite option, as we mentioned, like when we lived on the Navajo reservation, several of our friends, we went out piñon picking, which is little pine nuts, and we did that with them, and they were able to show us where those were and which trees they came off of, and even how to process them properly. That was really exciting. Navajo tea was another thing that we enjoyed looking for when it came in season. And here we have many fruits. We'll show you after we finish sharing. We'll show you some of the wild fruits that we've been shown here. And so we suggest wherever you live, find someone who's been there locally for a while. Here in our area, we have local villagers in the 2 villages that we live in that have been here most of their life, if not all of their life. And so they are really well versed in what grows here and what you can eat and what you shouldn't eat. And that's going to be the case many places. Generally, the older population is going to know more. So find an elderly person or an older local resident to your area and ask them. They would be probably more than happy to share with you what's growing in your area, and probably just a huge wealth of knowledge. We encourage you to get out and find out now what's growing in your area. Continue to do the gardening and to set up your gardens around your home, because it's going to be so important. We really believe that gardening is very important to be sustainable, especially with the way the world is at various times. You need to have your own food supply. But this is also a wonderful thing to know. What can you find locally? If there was a time of trouble that you needed to get out and get food, but you couldn't get to the store, and say your garden wasn't producing, maybe it was in the winter time, or of course if it's in the winter, likely not a lot of things growing, but there may be a time where this could be very valuable for you. So start doing your research now and find out what grows in your area. We hope this will be a blessing to your family as it is to ours. God bless.
This is a fruit that our friend brought to us last week. We actually had quite a few of them. This is called kokrit. It's kind of a nutty flavor, grows on the trees around here, comes in season once in a while, and we'll crack it open and you can see what kind of fruit comes off of this. Or like I said, it's kind of like a milky, nutty flavor. So this is what the fruit looks like once you've cracked it open. This is the inside of the shell, and this is the actual fruit itself. You can see there's just a little bit till you get down to the seed, but eat enough of them and you could get some fiber in there, and it's a really nice tasting fruit. Oh wow. Oh, there it went. I get it.